But the question that everyone keeps asking after the Super Bowl is Matthew Stafford Hall of Fame bound? And that's a very interesting question because Matthew Stafford played 12 years with the Lions, probably the worst franchise in NFL history. They're terrible. The reason they got Matthew Stafford is because they went 0-16. So, you know, you can't really fault Matthew Stafford for not being able to fix the franchise, for not being able to turn it around, for not being able to be a perennial playoff team, for not being able to get Pro Bowls and All Pros and all that stuff. Because to be a Pro Bowler, to get, All Pros, first team All Pro, like you gotta be in a winning team. It doesn't matter if you put up great stats, if your team's like 2-14, 6-10, like whatever record, 5-11, like you can't. You gotta be at least 9-7, 8. You gotta make the playoffs, at least like a 6 seed or something. I know there's 7 seeds now, but back in the day, 6 seed. Like you just gotta show that your numbers mean something. Like that your impact, like you're really impacting the score, the games, all that stuff. To be a Pro Bowler, to be a first team All Pro, more All Pro than Pro Bowler, because the Pro Bowl is a joke. But anyways, I digress. Is he a Hall of Famer? Like, it's tough because, I saw the statistic. He has been in the NFL since it's turned past happy. So he's the quickest to like 25,000 yards. He's the quickest 30, 35, 40. He's the quickest to almost like all the barometers of yards. I don't know about touchdowns, but I do know yards. And he's had some like 40 plus touchdown seasons. And the one time he had a competent coach with Caldwell, and, he made the playoffs, and he never won a playoff game before this season, but he made the playoffs with Caldwell, and they had some type of success, and then they fired Caldwell because the Lions are a joke of an organization, and they don't know what they're doing. But, one Pro Bowl, 13 years, like 3 or 4 playoff wins now that he's with the Rams, 1 Super Bowl, no Super Bowl MVPs. The numbers do look good. Is he a Hall of Famer? I would say right now, no. Just because there's a lot of Lions years that we can't just ignore. And obviously the Lions are atrocious, but the one caveat or like the pushback that I think Stafford will have is like not just that the Lions, like we'll see how the Lions turn it around if they continue to suck for like the next 10, 15 years, and I think it'll strengthen Stafford's case. But if you look at how Burrow turned around the Bengals, not as bad as the Lions. They were a perennial playoff team with AJ Green and Andy Dalton and even the early stages of Mixon. So not as bad as the Lions, but the last few seasons before Burrow, they were terrible. They were a bad team. And Burrow gets there. They draft a couple pieces. They get him, they get Burrow his Megatron, which is like Jamar Chase. Not the same player, but I'm just saying like an elite number 1. They put some pieces around him and boom, Super Bowl. Playoffs, Super Bowl, like they just get it done. So Burrow could do it with the Bengals, but Stafford couldn't do it with the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Those are where they're gonna nitpick at Stafford when he's trying to make his Hall of Fame case. Like why could Burrow do it with the Bengals and you couldn't do it with the Lions? I know it's not the same. The Lions are something else, but still. Well, he does have the stats. He does have the numbers. He does have the Super Bowl now, and he does have the Rams ecosystem going for him. Like the Rams, if Sean McVay stays, if Aaron Donald stays, they keep Ramsey. Cooper Kupp is there. We'll see what happens with OBJ and Robert Woods and all of that. But if he makes the playoffs the next 3-4 years, he's pretty much a lock for 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns the next few years. So let's say the next 4 years he makes the playoffs every single time. That's like what? Like he made like the playoffs like once or twice with the Lions in 12 years. Let's say he makes it to the playoffs 5 years in a row, 6 years in a row. That means 18-year career, 16-year career. He'll make the playoffs like 6 times. That's not too bad. One third of the years. Let's say he doesn't have to win another Super Bowl. Let's say he makes another NFC Championship, Maybe he gets to another Super Bowl. I don't think he has to win another one to be Hall of Fame, but if you just give him four or five more years of 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, that's another 120 touchdowns. That's another 16 to 20,000 more yards. And at that point, I think like there's no denying that he's a Hall of Famer. Like he'll be so high up in the stats. He'll be 6-time playoff appearances. Like he'll have 6 runs on him. Let's say he wins 1 or 2 playoff games every season. Like just wins the wild card, wins the divisional or something like that. 2-1, 1-1, 0-1, 2-1. Like that playoff numbers will start looking better. He is one of the clutchest quarterbacks of all time. He has a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. He did have really good fourth quarter numbers in the playoff run. There's a lot of stuff that could start coming his way. So I would say just right now, I wouldn't say he's a Hall of Famer, but I could definitely see how he will be a Hall of Famer 3-4 years down the line. So my money, if I was a betting man, I would say that Matt Stafford does make the Hall of Fame. And I could see where people would be like, what? Like, dude, he's not no Hall of Famer right now. But I could see how he ends up in the Hall of Fame 3-4 years down the line. It's just like you just got to look at the numbers. You give him 16,000 more yards. You give him like 110, 120 more touchdowns. Like, bro, like look at the numbers. Super Bowl champion, first year in the system, he wins it. Like you got that's Hall of Fame, dude. There's no denying it. He does that. He's a Hall of Famer. He retires this year or next year. He's not a Hall of Famer. Put it that way. But I think those numbers are realistic. Let me know if you think they're there's no way he does that. I think they're very realistic. So to end this video, I think he'll make the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done.